What's up, everybody? It's Cody Lockwood from LockwoodsLoot doing another weekly review. We are in the last week of August, so we have just a few books. It's actually a relatively smaller week, which is okay because there were so many weeks this month. So, but there are still 4 really good, solid titles that I did a review of. Now, there's plenty other books out this week. So don't just stick with the ones that I'm suggesting. Get out there and see what else is there. So 2 of the books we did, I did in honor of the King. Jack Kirby's birthday was Monday. He would have been 100. So they've been doing, Marvel's been doing these True Believer one-shots. They're $1 reprints of some classic Jack Kirby stories. And then DC has been doing new stories with classic add-ons in the back from Kirby. So we're going to just jump right into the Kirby stuff. I'm normally not a big DC fan. It's not that I'm not a fan, I just don't, I haven't read a lot of DC. I read enough other stuff. I figure I need to stick with what I know and what I like, but every once in a while a DC book does surprise me and I thoroughly enjoy it. That being said, the first book up is The Black Racer and Shiloh Norman. Now, I have no idea who either of these characters are. I know one is Mr. Miracle. I think it's the 3rd reincarnation of Mr. Miracle. And the other one is the Black Racer, which is a New Gods character. So this kind of gives an origin of the Black Racer. He was a military man in Vietnam. He was the bringer of death. He came back home, got, in an accident, so to say, was in a coma, and then the New Gods came to him and gave him godlike abilities to be their bringer of death, basically. And the way that I kind of saw it, he's kind of like the Grim Reaper, where he goes to an event that's about to happen where someone's about to die, and basically there's no getting away from the Black Racer. So this was another book based on Mr. Miracle. It follows a story where he's doing a big stunt. So the Black Racer appears because Mr. Miracle's about to die. Of course, miracles happen. He doesn't die. Great story, great art. I really dug the art. Mr. Miracle I'm not very familiar with, but I know the new Tom King Mr. Miracle issue 1 just came out. It was hugely successful. I haven't read it yet. We have a 2nd print coming in. I will be reading and checking that out. But it was a really enjoyable little one-shot story. The Black Racer seems very intriguing. So yeah, and then it's nice. In the back are more little Jack Kirby stories. So Black Racer and Shiloh Norman. I think this is going to be another good book as far as speculation for those collectors out there. I think all of these Kirby 100th birthday books have done very well. And the writing and the art was pretty good in it. What I liked even more was the Darkseid oversized special. The interior art was it was amazing. Scott Collins. And then the writer Mark Evanier. I'm not familiar with either of them, but they did a great job. Check this out. That's the opening scene where Darkseid statue has Tyrant on it. Again, I'm not familiar with Darkseid very much, but it's very easily, you get the feeling of the world. It's a very post-apocalyptic world, the world of Darkseid, where humanity is at its utmost low. And this follows the story of 3 rebels trying to start a rebellion. And basically trying to show fear, to go against your fear of Darkseid and to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. It introduced some really cool characters. Again, Mr. Miracle makes an appearance again, but very cool. The artwork I absolutely loved. Darkseid is a badass. And then the little mini story in the back is about OMAC, the one-man Army Corps. And again, I like the artwork of this little story back here. It was a fun little story. This one I really enjoyed. On to the one Marvel book that I did this week. And this is in the Generations Hawkeye. And I've been saying from the beginning, the Generations books have been outstanding. For a Marvel book, I feel like me as a Marvel fanboy, Marvel was maybe at a, at least for myself, in my personal opinion, was at a low for stories. I wasn't really enjoying much. But recently with the Generations and the Weapons of Mutant Destruction and the Astonishing X-Men and X-Men Gold, all these great classic feeling stories about superheroes and superhero things, not necessarily about real life situations, which is still good for certain books. But for my superhero books, I want superhero events. So this is again the Generations, which with the Hulk and Jean Grey and all new Wolverine, it's kind of like our new heroes are getting displaced in time and are being face to face with their classic counterparts. So this one, the current Hawkeye, Kate, is put in a time when Clint is at his peak. So he was in like an inter-time dimensional warp where all of the best marksmen from their time and period are basically battling each other to have the one true marksman. So it's a really cool banter between Clint and Kate. Shows how badass they are. It was a very fun, enjoyable story. There's lots of appearances. Swordsman's in there. Bullseye's in here. Taskmaster. So it's a really fun, smooth book. I enjoy all of these Generations. So check it out. Pick it up. It's probably going to be sold out from the distribution. Also today, the second print of the Totally Awesome Hulk came out. So if you can find it in your store, pick it up. It's probably a lower print run. So, on to my favorite book. Finally, issue 3 of some Space Riders, Galaxy of Brutality. And look at this cover. That's just phenomenal. Just an amazing cover. Alexis kills it. One of my favorite artists of all time. His coloring, his art. I mean, look at the beauty and the craziness of this. If you're not familiar with Space Riders, do yourself a favor and go out today to your local comic shop. It's put out by Black Mask. I'm a Black Mask fanboy. I love most of what they put out. Not all stores carry them, so definitely do your research and find a store that carries Black Mask. And any good comic shop should be carrying Black Mask comics. We have plenty at the shop, Nostalgia Inc. I've been a big fan of Space Riders since the beginning, so we order heavy on everything Alexis and Fabian do. Not just Space Riders, but any cover or anything that has their name on it, we're in it. Do yourself a favor. This is the most metal of all of the Space Riders so far. This issue was fucking mind-melting, eye-melting. I mean, but look at that. That's it's awesome. When people ask me what it is, I feel like it's kind of like a classic Star Wars, Mad Max, acid trip, rock opera. It's epic. There's epicness all about. I mean, look at that. What more would you want in a comic book? It's amazing. Unmake the stars, cosmos fade to black. Now tell me that doesn't sound like a metal lyric. So if you're a fan of, well, I don't even care if you're not. Do it. Go out and buy it. Look. This is the last page. I am your doom. I mean, please do yourself a favor and buy this. This book is amazing. I want these original pages. I want this cover. I want this logo. I want to own everything Space Riders puts out, and I just about do. So if you're not familiar with it, go out and buy it. This is actually volume 2 of the Space Riders Adventure. The first one. It might be difficult to find at your local comic shop, but if you need a set of the first set, get a hold of me. I don't know, in my personal collection, I probably have 10 complete sets of the first volume, and then we have plenty of volume 2 as well. So that concludes my weekly review. Again, we have the 2 DC Jack Kirby 100th anniversary birthday specials, Darkseid and the Black Racer. Both very well written and drawn. I thoroughly enjoyed them, even though I didn't know much of what was going on. Generations Hawkeye. I've never been a Hawkeye fan, but this was a really good read. And of course, the best Space Riders. Check it out. Again, I'm Cody Lockwood from LockwoodsLoot. You can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Check me out at a convention near you. I travel all over with my lovely wife, Audra, through Audra Olivia's Attic. She's an artist, so we go to a bunch of shows. So if you want some original artwork, you want some signatures, you want some toys, you want whatever, holler at me. We'll make it happen. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one. Happy New Comic Book Day.